welcoming our presentation today. Today, we want to present you about differences of cross-cultural communication styles. We will discuss what effect each country's different behavior or expressions comparing Japan with South Korea and Australia. And for that, we did some researches and interviews to each country's natives. First, we will tell you the similarities and differences of those between those countries' based background or basis. After that, we will show you the differences of each behavior or expressions by showing you role plays. After that, we will go into our presentation, our conclusion. If you have any questions, please leave it until the end of our presentation. So let's get started. So first we will talk about similarities and differences between those countries' background or basis. And in the beginning, I will talk about the government of Australia and Japanese. Actually, in the side of government, the system of government are almost both Japan as two-chamber system, which is like in Japan there is the house, which is in this, and also there is households and different called in Shugin. There's two chambers in Japan. And also in Australia, there is upper chamber and upper house and lower house. I mean, there's also two chambers. And in addition, the system of government or politics are both countries are based on the democracy. But on the other hand, in Australia, vote is the duty of every citizen. I mean, so they have to vote during the election or in the election. And if someone doesn't vote, that person will get the fine within $100. But in contrast, Japan, of course, Japan is vote is not a duty of citizens in Japan. So it's kind of vote is kind of differences of these countries.
Next, South Korea and Japan also have similarities. Both of the countries with democracy people have a right to elect their leader and take part in the government. What I want to emphasize in the differences has mainly 2 points. First, the system of government. We adopt constitutional monarchy that has both of emperor and prime minister. In contrast, South Korea government adopts presidential republic that has one president, which is same as America. The president is chosen by the nation directly, and also, so it is that the Korean people can take part in the government more actively than Japanese. And also, I think the system of army is completely different. In Korea, men who is the 18 have to join the army for 2 years. It is called conscription. It is duty that Korean men have to do necessarily, and there is no choice. On the other hand, Japanese army is self-defense forces that they cannot attack other countries, and just for protecting ourselves. And this army is composed of voluntary applicants. This is very big important difference points.
So next, we'll talk about region in Australia and South Korea and Japan. And I'll talk about Australian region. In Australia, about 70% of people are Christian. However, as Australia is the country of immigrants, so there are many other kind of religions such as Buddhism and Muslim. But Australians' view of religion is almost the same as Japanese. So as we can see, Japanese people are not so honest on their religion. For example, Japanese people usually say they believe in Buddhism. But Australian people also don't put great emphasis on their religion, like Japanese people. Of course, more than 80% of the Australians believe in some religions, but they don't value that so much.
Okay, now I'll talk about religion in South Korea. From the aspect of the South Koreans' code of conduct is based on the Confucianism. Confucianism is the religion which the Chinese philosopher Confucius taught social and moral principles, and those had a great influence on the Chinese society and on the way the Chinese people think. Even though Koreans have a belief in Christianity or Buddhism, their thinking and behavior is based on the Confucianism. Now I'll give you an example. Okay, this is a plot, and this perpendicular line shows rank or status in society. There is a king and civilians. As you know, a king is a top or symbol of one country, and so king is in a higher level than civilians. Okay. How about teachers and students? Of course, teachers in a higher position than students. Okay, now I would like you to remark this point. This horizontal line shows equality, and so I said king and teachers are higher ranking. So king and teachers are equal. So are students and civilians. This idea, maybe it's unusual to you, but this is the core of the Confucianism. Okay, and as I said, Confucianism is different from Japanese, but we Japanese are also familiar with Confucianism. Like, for example, we Japanese respect older people or people a higher position. Okay. describe Japanese spiritual mind, and these are from Confucianism idea.
Yeah. Next, I'll talk about the history of Australia and Japan. Actually, there are considerably much more differences than similarities between Australia and Japanese. Okay, now I'll talk about Australia. After America became independent, Australia began to be used as a place for the exiles instead of America. And exile means exile is a person who is refused to stay his or her country by government. And yeah, because of this, Australia became the place for the immigrant from UK. On the other hand, of course, Japan consists of only aborigines, only Japanese. So that is the biggest difference between Australia and Japan.
Japan and South Korea have same historical background. Both of the countries are ruled by United States. Japan was ruled after World War II, and South Korea was ruled after the Korean War. That is, Korean Peninsula divided into South and North part. After the two wars, both of the two were supported to make basic formation of the government by the United States.
I talk about child raising in Australia and Japan. The Australian style of raising a child has both similarities and difference compared with Japanese. I'll give you one example for each. Firstly, Australian people do not hire a babysitter, but they bring their children up with the whole family, including grandma and grandpa instead. This fact also happens in Japan. Secondly, in Australia, there are many restaurants which refuse parents to bring their children. So when they have a meal, this would involve the noise of children playing. Therefore, Australian people usually cannot eat out with their family if they have small children. And on the other hand, in Japan, there are a lot of restaurants, so-called family restaurants in Japan. Japanese parents usually take their children to such restaurants so often, and it is very common in Japan.
Okay, in terms of child raising, there is not so big difference between South Korea and Japan. For example, the educational system is much alike. Like, for example, the primary education is for 3 years in both countries, and also there is the secondary education for 3 years in 2 countries. Also, Korean companies want people who are high educated, or like it's very like Japanese idea, and so South Korean people have very passionate to educate very hard, and that is they are very enthusiastic about education. As I said, there is no big difference of two countries, but I'd like you to tell one interesting difference. In Japan, when usually parents hold and lift up their child up and down, maybe parents seems like heavy or become very big or something. But people never say like that, because in their minds, their child might hear and thinks like, oh, I'm already big and heavy enough, so I should not grow up anymore. Things like that. So Korean parents never say, my child is heavy, like that.
To draw a circle was for expressing the similarity and differences between those countries. This is to Japan. And Japan. And as you can see from here, there's many similarities, like the kind of inside of their mind. So I think we can like do circle like this. There's a kind of many similarities and similarities inside of compared with their background or basis. But in contrast, about Australia, there's just like similarity of government or system of government, like style of politics, or like not so care about religions. It's not so like I think we think it's not like a big similarities. And look at this duty of gold or Christianity, immigrant, like or welcome to children. Oh no, children, very. So from these things, we think the difference is more bigger than similarities. So we drew circle like this. This is the only similarity, and there are big differences between these countries. So next, we will show you the differences between those countries' behavior or expressions by showing you our role play. So in this situation, okay, Yuka K act as Korean, whose name is like a player, and Ayumi act as Australian, whose name is
Bob.
difficult. And Kaori act as Japanese, whose name is
Kaori.
And this situation is like this. Anjofan and Kaori and the quiz, and they are freshmen of the quiz. And Bob is their teacher. And first thing is about the first time they see each other. And let's focus on Korean on the side.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Nice to meet you. I'm very glad to meet you.
Me too. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Bob, and I'm 55 years old. My hobby is shopping and eating so much. But actually, I love to collecting girls' dolls and play with them.
That's nice. You think so? It's
see there any characteristic of Koreans here? Did you see when they shake hands with both do like this? This shows the Korean always do like this when they meet and shake hands with seniors or teachers when they to express their respect to the teacher. It's come from this thinking of the Confucianism. And can you see she picks up her posture like this? It's because Korean people, especially men, have to join the army and got an exercise from there, and their posture is really good. And for Korean, for South Korean, the Japanese posture is very weird or very weak or really bad. So for that, Johan tried to fix her posture this time. And lastly, when he talked about his hobby, the collecting parasol, and she said like it's weird. But in cultural Japanese say like, oh well, it's good, like introductory. But because of the Confucianism, they try to be honest they try to be honest each other and try to be honest. So because for that, she tried to say what he feel is directly like weird, even though it's a negative word. Okay, let's move on next scene. Scene 2 is in the class of freshman English. They discuss about the communication styles.
Okay. In my opinion, religious influence is related to our communication style somehow. Kaori, what do you think about it? Well,
To me, religion doesn't seem to connect with communication style so much because the Australian people don't care about religion so much. So I don't think religion belief affects too much about our communication styles.
Yeah, I see your point, and I agree with both of your ideas.
In this case, let's focus on Japanese and Australian. In the case of Japanese, she take a lot of time to say her opinion, but she take a lot of time to say her opinion, and it's because the style of communication style, like bowling style, as we learned in Indian civility, they always try to think deeply about what they should say or something. So that's why she took a lot of time to say the opinion. And in contrast, in the case of Australian, they try to be, even though she tried to say something, Australian both interrupt and say his opinion. And in this case, we want to say that Australian is pretty direct and wanna explain or express their opinion directly or honestly. And it's because although we are not sure why they feel like that, but it would be because of their history, because of the immigrant. They came from UK as a convict, prisoner, and they're poor levels, and for that they try to be honest and try to be equal, even though teacher, even though there are some differences like rank, like teacher and student, but they try to be honest and try to be say directly, like maybe for surviving. So that's all. And next, next thing is after Anjongfang do presentation. Yes. That's all.
Hey, your presentation was awesome. You could finally memorize your whole script. Unbelievable.
Thanks.
Hey, Bob is coming.
Yeah, your presentation was very good. I am impressed.
You really think so? You don't look like happy.
I was very happy to see your presentation. It was very good.
But you don't look like that. But anyway, my presentation was not bad, was it?
In this case, let's focus on only Australian. In general, Australian doesn't express their feeling so much. Like, I mean, they're not so emotional. Maybe if Australian, if Bob is American, if he feel amazing or like exciting, they usually do like clap your hands and say loud and sometimes hug or kiss and like that. But in the case of Australian, they usually don't do like that. Not do like that. They just say hi, it's good or something. But the feeling of them, feeling is almost similar. Even though Australians feel amazing or feel exciting, but they usually do not express that feeling to others. I'm not sure why they do like this. And last one. Can you do again?
Oh,
Last one.
my presentation was not bad, was it?
She shake her head side by side, but it means yes in Australian, for Australian. Why it happened? I'll explain about why it's happened. And when Australian heard it or hear the negative word like not, she said his presentation was not good, was it? And if Australian hear not negative words like such as not or doesn't or couldn't, and if the answer is yes, they do not shake their head vertically, not vertically, but like side by side. I'm not sure why they do like this, but it's kind of habitual or custom, like their habitual attitude or expression to say yes. That's all.
And now we are in the end of our presentation. Before ending our presentation, let me emphasize the important point of our presentation again. First, we compare Japan, Australia, and South Korea and introduce you the similarities and differences in terms of government, religion, historical background, and the way of child raising. Each person from different countries has different cultural backgrounds, and the differences tend to affect on our communication style so much. So sometimes the differences might affect and cause cultural shock and make us confused. So maybe have a conversation with other people from other country. We need to be careful about it. So do you have any questions?
Okay, about Confucius religion, about Confucius, you said people respect people who are in high position, right? What do you mean by the high position? What kind of
The
position?
rank or status.
Yeah, you mean people who are rich or
No.
monks or something like that? Or,
Like
yeah, teachers or
team or
People in
teachers
government?
or not government,
Anything
but
like-
like boss and co-workers.
Sorry? Co-worker?
Yeah. In the company, like boss is, very high level. Is much respectable than,
Oh, okay. Oh,
co-worker.
Any questions?
I want to ask you, all of you, comparing the three countries, did you find a preference in three countries? Do you like Japan most or Australia?
Think about the background or something.
In total.
I think Japanese language. And in my opinion, I believe that Japan is the most, the best country.
I like the Korean doesn't say their baby is very heavy.
Korea and Japan have a similarity a lot. So